Something I would like to point out real quick, or like to make mention. I appreciate all of you for tuning in and checking out my videos, and especially for those that are really here that stop by to see the foamy camper build. As you see, it's on standby at the moment. I've moved everything outside from the inside room, but the problem is, yeah, this has been an ongoing process. But now I'm in the midst of fall and winter, and I have that moisture in the air, that coldness, that winter fall moisture in the air, and I know it's going to affect the PMF, poor man fiberglass, in some kind of way. That's just my theory, my logic, my basic common sense. And the reason I'm saying that is, as well as for this, I feel that it's affecting the moisture, the winter, the season is affecting the paint process in this, along with the drying, for the simple fact, when I try to sand, a lot of the sand is coming off clumpy. It's not powdery. So therefore, I know that it's maintaining a bit of the moisture. The reason I'm pointing that out is because I know that the moisture is going to affect the drying, the curing process. I can feel how it's affecting the paint process. When I'm sanding, it's clumping instead of coming to that powdery. I can just feel moisture in the paint. If I'm off, if one of you painters out there happen to be tuning in, watching this from time to time, tell me if my theory is off or on, if I'm hit or miss. If I had, if I could maintain a constantly 75, 80 degrees in here, I would go ahead and finish the foamy, but I can't glue it, take it inside and out, because it's going to be way too big once I start putting it together. There's going to be no way of getting it outside. So, like I said, I apologize for having you wait until I can come up with a solution. This is just a tarp covering this makeshift shop that I'm working out of. But yeah, I can see where it's clumping and clogging the sandpaper instead of just becoming that sandpaper dust, that paint dust. So I have the luxury of painting it outside and then moving it into the room on the inside for it to completely dry. So I just wanted to point that out. So if you're here, like I said, I thank all my viewers, all my subscribers, all my subscribers. I really do thank and I appreciate you. Um, and if you're here for the foamy, please be patient. And we're going to try to get that finished up as soon as the weather permits. But until then, I appreciate you. I hope you enjoyed. You see a little of the breath now. But like I said, until then, I do appreciate you checking out my videos. I hope you enjoyed the build, or I hope you enjoyed the modifications that I'm making to the kits and the car little projects that I'm dabbling with in the meantime. And with that said, let's get into it. Do a little touch up on the little pinholes that was still in it, and let this dry, and we'll come back and sand, putty down, and primer. Put a coat of primer on and see how it's looking from there. Okay, I have it washed up, wiped down. I put what grit sand is this? I went over with a 220 grit sand, and now I'm just gonna give it a little spray to see, try to bring out the flaws so I can see what I'm working with at this point. Okay, now that I have my little base coat on, I can see where the little pinholes and indentions are. Those are the areas I will be focusing on next. Took care of quite a few on this side, but as you see throughout, there's a whole lot of little, I could say, pinholes that's in the material itself. And once this dry, I'm hoping to get that spot filler, that putty, and I can fill those in. See, there's a lot of them in that area. Get all these rough spots filled in, get these areas worked out, smoothed out. Like I said, I'm gonna let this sit for a moment, and being that it's like 40 degrees out now, it's gonna get nothing but colder. It's gonna get colder throughout the night, but I'm gonna let this sit and dry for a minute, and we'll take it in, and hopefully sometime tonight I can get started on it. Start at least doing the putty fill, spot fills. Next, I'll be touching up the little pinholes, trying to get them filled in. I think that blend is coming along pretty decent. It's gonna look good once it's all painted in one color. Okay, that is a 120 and a 220 sand. At least I know that one's 220. I do believe this one was, numbers done, yeah, 120 sand. So this all ready for the next coat of primer to see what flaws I have to work out from there. Alright, coat of prime up here. See how it's coming along. Slowly but surely, I think it's gonna take one more touch up. I've caught up a lot of the little holes on this side I'm seeing now. The bottom, I'm not gonna worry about too much. This side is looking fairly clean. I got a few right up there in that area. I think just a couple Smooth that out. One deep one there. But as you see, it's coming right along. Just a couple more touch up. Way better than what it was, especially on this side. Just one more touch up with the putty and we'll be ready for a final coat and white prime. I'm hoping this is the last bit. See how much smoother that is already, as well as this side. Okay, so this is it. I'm hoping the last spot fill is needed. And I'm about to, this is what I'm using for the primer. At this point, I think I'm good on the primer, so I'm thinking about just using the filler primer to fill in what other little cracks or hopefully little holes or pinholes, and then just go ahead and use the primer, the white primer, to do the finishing coat. And so with that, I think there's only like a couple areas that I'm really going to focus on now. One being that little spot. As you see, this area with all those tiny little pinholes, they're covered, they're filled in. Like I said, the bottom, I'm not going to worry about that. That area right there with the pipe will go. I'm not going to worry about that. That little corner worked out good. I'm going to touch that spot up right there, and right there. I'll be touching that up. That spot and that spot. For the rest, I think I'm gonna wipe it down and put that white coat over it. Everything else is gonna pull together pretty good, and that's what I'm gonna go with. The last round of touch-ups. Just did a quick little tap on the bottom. As far as everything else, I think for the most part, looking pretty good. The sides came along pretty good. Alright, I'm about to add the first coat of white. That's my first coat of white. Just a rough spray, get some coverage. Got a lot of debris in it this time, so I'll be coming back and doing at least 220 sand, and probably pick up one more can of white to make sure I get a nice covering. Alright, with that, I will be getting one more can because I need to get the bottom sides here. I want to throw a coat on those. It's moving along pretty good, but I think that one more can is going to give me a nice thick coat. I have moved it on the inside and it's been inside now for a couple days. And it has dried. I have put a 400 grit sand on it. And I'm about to move it outside and we're going to put a hopefully last and final coat of white primer on. Okay, I have outside, and I'm gonna attempt to spray it. I looked it over and try to make sure I remove as much debris as possible, and I'm in the conditions that I am. And so I'm try to hopefully get a nice clean spray. So a lot of debris settling in. Okay, that's the fresh spray. We'll be letting this sit and dry. So I'm gonna come back and give you a look at what it's looking like once it's dry. But I think I'm happy with it. I can live with it. Hopefully my son will like it, and next is application. There it is. The completed bumper. The Wisdom. The exact numbers, but it's Duraflex. It had the slot on the left bottom. I had it for exhaust, and I just threw that diffuser in there. Overall, I like it because it's a bit different. Bit of experience on learning how to deal with the pits, the little pinholes, and the fiberglass. I know the new material now is what everybody is using, but I had this, or I would rather have had that black plastic stuff. Can't correctly call it out by name right now. I'd rather have that because it's flexible, bendable, soft. It's gonna withstand more bumps and scrapes, I do believe. But next is the application. There are some little areas like on the left and right at the top of the diffuser. I probably could fill them in, but heck, for the most part, I'm gonna ride with it just the way it is. Down the road we decide to change it, it'll be down the road. As you see, I put the mesh backing in. I think that turned out pretty decent. Could put some little like clips in there to pull it, but I think I'll live.